In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Trezor hardware wallet. How to set it up, how to secure it, how to transfer keys to it, and more importantly, do you really need it? Now, before we begin, let me be perfectly open and honest. I am not being paid by Trezor to do this review. However, I did contact them and say, hey, if you send me one of your hardware wallets, I'll do a review on your product. But I'm telling you right now that everything I tell you here is my honest review. I'm not being positive just because they sent me one. So, to begin, I think it's important to understand the idea of saving your keys, public and private, and how do you store your money right now. The options are you could either leave them online on something like an exchange like Bittrex or Binance. If you have Coinbase, you might be just leaving your Bitcoins on Coinbase. That's an option. It's also possible if any of those sites get hacked, you could lose all your money. So many people consider that a very risky option. Or another option would be a software wallet or a digital wallet. And that's a program that you have on your computer that you transfer your coins to, and it keeps it digitally on your computer. It's not online, it's on your computer, which is connected to the internet. So there is some danger there that if you have a virus, it could somehow take your key and send it and you could lose it. But that's more secure than online. And a digital wallet, there's several different kinds. Each coin many times has their own digital wallet, like Arc and Ripple have their own digital wallet, and it's just for that coin. There's other wallets like Jax or Electrum that will hold multiple currencies. And what I use is what's called a paper wallet, and that is nothing but the public key and the private key. And the private key is the main one. That's where all your money is. So if someone sees it or gets a picture of it or a glimpse of it, they can take all your money. They can transfer it out to a wallet, cash it out, and it's gone. However, it could be on a piece of paper. It could be written down. It's totally secure from the internet. Now you have to manage that and make sure it's very secure, and if someone, like I said, sees it, it can be gone. So there's advantages and disadvantages to all these things. And the Trezor is a hardware wallet. It is not a digital wallet like a program on your computer. It's not a paper wallet. It is stored on here, and the advantage to one of these is that it's password protected. You need a PIN. You need a recovery phase. It's very secure. I would put that in one category, that it's secure and private and protected, but in another category I would put that it's dummy proof. Let's say it walks you through. If you're not accustomed to taking your private keys and storing your keys and uploading them and sweeping them into wallets, the advantage of a hardware wallet is that it will walk you through, and you can be confident when you transfer your money, let's say out of Coinbase to a hardware wallet like Trezor, that you're doing it safely and there's no middleman that can be spying on you and things like that. So the security is one aspect, and the foolproof, dummy-proof idea of it is another. So what exactly do you get when you order it? And first, let me start with where to order it. You can buy it from Trezor directly, or I would say Amazon, but anything beyond that, I would not recommend. Definitely do not buy one of these from eBay. I think it's too risky, and I'll get into why in a minute, but the Trezor should be blank and empty. There have been reports of some of these hardware wallets where on the box there will be a scratch-off area, and it'll say, input these keys. That's bad. That's somebody trying to scam you into importing money into their private keys. So don't do that, and make sure you know what you're doing when you start. I would definitely recommend just buying from Trezor or Amazon, not some third-party seller. When you get this, it should be blank and empty and nothing loaded on it, by the way. So it will come in a box, and to start with the box, it should be shrink wrapped in plastic, and there will be security tags on the top and bottom, and the box itself is glued shut with this sticky glue. So it should be sealed by the factory. It should not have been opened. There should not be anything in here saying input into this key, nothing like that. So it should be secured. Also in the box, you get a recovery seed sheet. You get 2 of these. You get a manual, and you get the Trezor itself, and it's very light, small. It has a screen and 2 buttons and a USB connector a connector that goes to your USB of your computer. And I thought it was going to be a long, drawn-out thing of instructions and how to do it. It's not that bad. It's one sheet. It shows you that you can store it on here for a long period of time. It says connect it to your computer and go to the Trezor website, and it'll work from there. So that's nice. It's real simple and easy. And we'll get into setting up and using recovery seed in a second, but it says make sure you keep your recovery seed very secure and private and never put it online where someone can get to it. So, step one, you connect the Trezor to your computer. So you connect the Trezor with the USB to your computer, and a message will pop up that says, welcome, please wait, visit their website, trezor.io/start, and it'll walk you through it. And here is that web page, and two important things to note on this page are how to set up and use your PIN. You're going to be inputting it using your device and your computer, and understanding your recovery seed. You're going to be writing it down on a piece of paper and keeping that very secure. And one thing to note real quick is even if this gets lost or stolen or somebody takes it, they will not be able to get into your device without all of these different parameters, and that's what really makes it different. It's not just a flash drive where you have a text file on here, but you do want to keep that recovery seed secure. That is what you use to get back to your money even if this is lost or stolen. So the recovery seed is very important. After reviewing those two steps, it'll take you to this, which is where you want to actually download the software. You can either use it on Windows, or I want to use it with my Chrome extension. So that's what I'm going to do. And now, because it's the first time I've ever used it, it's going to upload the firmware and install it on there. Like I said in the beginning, there should be nothing installed on this when you start. And that just took a few seconds. It shows on the screen that it was successful, and looking on the Trezor screen, it says new firmware. You may now unplug. So here's where the first really cool thing comes into play. I'm going to enter my PIN in, and it's 4 numbers. And even if I told you what those 4 numbers were, you wouldn't be able to enter them in unless you physically had this device, because as you can see on the screen, it's not just enter the text in, or it's not click on the numbers themselves. All you see on the screen are a series of dots, but on the Trezor itself, there are a series of numbers 1 through 9. So I'm going to enter my PIN in by clicking on the boxes on the screen which match up with the numbers I want on the screen of the Trezor. So I entered them in the first time, and now, again on the screen, you just see dots. It's different on the screen of the Trezor. The numbers are scrambled, and I'm going to click on them again. Now on to step 2, and these are the recovery seeds. It's 24 words, and you don't see them on the screen. All you see is write down the first word, but I do see it on the screen of the Trezor. So I'm going to write these down on the sheets of paper that they gave me. Okay, I just got done writing down all 24 words, and you follow right through on the screen. You write the word down on the sheet, you press the second button, it says next, 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 and I can see that it went through on the screen as well. Now it's asking me to check what I wrote down matches what's on the screen. Yep, I went through and they all look right. I hit finish, and it pops up saying Dave's Trezor on here, and it brings me to the Trezor management screen. And something real quick that I wanted to point out was you can add a passphrase encryption to the Trezor, and it offers different layers, meaning different currencies in each. So if somebody had a gun and was holding it up to you and said, give me your passphrase to get in here, you could give them one, and it would only have, $50, $100 in it, and they would think that's all that's on here, and they'd say, okay. But really, you can have multiple accounts in one Trezor. However, like it says, if you lose it, all your funds are going to be lost for good. So all of these things are just added layers of protection and different things you can do. So this is all in the Chrome app, and now I'm going to go to the Trezor wallet, which is on their website, wallet.trezor.io. So at this point, the Trezor's all set up, ready to go. I have my PIN, my recovery seed, and it's ready to receive coins that I'm going to send to it. And now you might be asking, what coins does it support? There's thousands of different coins and tokens out there. And here's the list of what the Trezor supports. It has Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash, Ethereum, a lot of the big ones, NEM. But a big important thing you should note is when it says all ERC20 tokens. ERC20 tokens use the Ethereum blockchain. They're kind of like a clone or a copy of Ethereum, and that includes a ton. So OMG is an ERC20 token. Link. I just bought Wabi the other day. It's a new token. It's only been out for a couple weeks, and that is an ERC20 token. So if you're not sure, go to Google, type in is Chainlink an ERC20 token. It'll show you, yes it is. It'll show you. And one big giveaway of whether it's an ERC20 token is, does it start with 0x just like Ethereum does? So all keys for Ethereum are 0x blah 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 blah, and ERC20 tokens are also on that. And if you want to check the balance, you usually use etherscan.io, that site. It looks just like the Ethereum check, except you go to tokens and it will show you that token. So when they say ERC20 tokens, there's a ton that are supported from that. And one thing I wanted to go over before I show you how to transfer money to the Trezor is forks of Bitcoin. There's lots of confusion on what a fork is, how do you get it, how do you get, what is it, and how do you get that money. So a fork of Bitcoin is when they take that blockchain and split it. So you basically, if you have one Bitcoin, you will get a fork of whatever the fork is, meaning you'll have Bitcoin Cash was a fork several months ago. There's Bitcoin Gold. There's Bitcoin Diamond, there's Bitcoin Core, there's several that you probably don't even know about. There's one every week. Most of them are completely worthless. You can't get them. There's no wallets that will support them. Even on an exchange, I know I was on Binance and it's like, congratulations, you have Bitcoin Diamond. You can't cash it out. You can't trade it. It's locked. So just because a fork has occurred doesn't mean you get it, but the Trezor does support some of those forks. And as you can see on this last page, it has Bitcoin Cash. It has Bitcoin Gold. And those two, Bitcoin Cash started, I think it went down to $200. Now it's at $2,000. So Bitcoin Cash does have value, and using this, it's stored on there. You could transfer it to an exchange and cash it out if you want. Same thing with Bitcoin Gold. Like I said, a lot of those other forks are completely worthless. They're not supported, and good luck trying to find a wallet that will support some of those other ones like Bitcoin Diamond or Bitcoin Core. And even if you do have a wallet, I think Bitcoin Core is worth $2, so have fun with that. Okay, one thing I wanted to point out real quickly is the first time I came to this page, it was on Litecoin. This is where you select the coins up here, and it had Litecoin up here, and this was all blank. It didn't say transactions or received. This was all blank. So it took about 10 minutes for this to start loading up. I don't know if I just had to refresh it or not, but now it has transactions, send, receive. And so if I wanted to send Litecoin to my Trezor from, like, let's say Coinbase, I would go on Coinbase, I would hit send Litecoin. I'm on Litecoin. I would come to this page, select Litecoin, show address, and now I clicked it on there and it shows it on the screen, and I can see that it shows it on the screen of the Trezor. So now I can verify that these are the same. I look at the first three, MXC, yep. The last three, 7FL, yep. It's the same on here and on there. I'm going to hit continue, which is the second button on here, and that prompt goes away. So if I wanted to send from an exchange like Binance, Bittrex, Coinbase, I would just, this is my receiving address. This is my public key. You'll never see a private key on the Trezor. That's what makes it secure. It wouldn't make any point if they showed you the private key. That would be just getting rid of all the security. The private key is always hidden on here, but they'll give you the public key because that's what you're sending it to. So you would go on, let's say Coinbase, you go send, you would input this public key, you're sending it to this address, and it would show up. That's all you need. All you need is the public key to send to this device. So that's for Litecoin. Same thing with Bitcoin. You select Bitcoin in the top, it has the same thing. You can hit receive, it will generate a public key, show address. Again, I see it on here, I hit continue, it's the same code. That's the public key, that's what I'm going to be sending it to. You can use a QR code, and it had a QR code option on here too. So that's how you can send Bitcoin and Litecoin. Ethereum, they're not going to generate a key like that. because a new thing is they've linked to My Ether Wallet, which is a very popular site that people use Ethereum and ERC20 tokens. And I'll show you how that's used in a second. So I'm going to go to Trezor and connect to Trezor. And before I do, I want to point something out. There's instructions for all this right here. It says how to use Trezor with My Ether Wallet. It's a blog post from Trezor, and it walks you through everything you do with screen, or real quick, it's just a summary. Sending Ether to the Trezor or sending it from the Trezor. So this is the quick version, or you can follow through all the steps in the long version. But I'll show you how to do it in a second. Export public key for Ether account number 1. Okay, I'll hit export. Now I'll put in my PIN, the same one I entered twice when creating this. And again, you can see the numbers on here and on the screen. So here is this menu, and these are, first you can look up here, this is already checked. It says Trezor Ethereum. That's the one you want to use. And these are the different Ethereum addresses that are on the Trezor that I'm going to use. So this is what I would send to. These are the Ethereum addresses on the Trezor. So I'm going to click on, I'll just show you, I can click on both of these. I'm going to open up a new tabs. And the first one is etherscan.io. The second one is ETH Explorer. And this is what I always use to verify money in an Ethereum account. I usually go to Google and type in, check Bitcoin balance, and it'll show you can put in the public key, never the private key. You put in the public key and you can check the balance. And these both obviously say 0. I have nothing in them. This was newly generated from the Trezor. These are the public keys, and these are what I'm going to send Ethereum to. So I'll select it. I'm going to copy it also. I'll hit unlock wallet. And that's the public key right there. Again, I'm going to check it here. They always start with the 0x8, 0x, and then the rest of the keys. So this is 0x8 EFA, and it's the same on both these, 0x8 EFA, and on here, 0x8 EFA. Now, if I was doing an ERC20 token, when we talked about that, it would show up if I'm going to extend it, or if it was on this key, it would show up down here. It would not show up in the Ethereum balance. It would show up down here in the token balance. So this shows you all the tokens that are, these are all, ERC20 tokens that this is supported with, that are loaded on here. There's more, and you can load up additional ones in here, but this has got OMG and Link and all those different ones. So you can add your custom ERC20 token. There's more than just that, but like I said earlier, when it says it supports ERC20 tokens, that's all of these. So, and they would show up right here. It would say OMG, and it would show your balance. I believe you also have to if you're going to do a transaction, you have to have some Ether, because Ethereum is the gas. It's the money you need to send. It's the fee. You have to have that money in there for the fee to send it. If you're receiving it, you don't have to have anything. It could be a new key. You can send it right in there. So we don't have to have any Ethereum in to receive it, just when you're sending it. So this is the Ethereum key on the Trezor, the public key that I'm going to be sending to. So let's send some money. I have $5 on a paper wallet I have just for screwing around, and I'm going to go to send Ether and tokens, and I'm going to input my private key from that piece of paper. So I pasted in my private key, and it opened up my wallet, and this shows the public key, what's in there, the public key of that wallet. Shows I have 0.01 Ethereum, which is it's $10.72. It was $5 a month ago. Now it's $10. And I'm going to send this to the public key on my Trezor. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to put that in there. Amount to send 0.01, which is all of it right here. Now I'm going to check it. 0x8 EFA, 0x8 EFA. I'm checking the first 3 and the last 3. 0x8 EFA. This is Ethereum. I'm sending Ethereum It's an Ethereum address. I'm sending Ethereum. You got to check these things several times. No matter how many times you do it, you don't want to screw up. Everything looks good. The gas limit's already set. I don't change anything else like the gas price. And I hit generate transaction. Then send transaction. I'm sending it from that address, which is the paper wallet public key 052. The important thing is that I'm receiving at that 0x8 EFA. Like I said, all this is already filled out except for the 0.01, which is in there. It will have the fee. And go ahead and make that transaction. Okay, I forgot. You cannot send the full amount. You have to subtract out what the fee is going to be. So it was 0.00041. So I can send 0.009559. Usually it's not a big deal. You just subtract that out of there. And like I said, the reason I can only send that amount is because there's going to be a fee to do the transaction. So let's try this again. Generate transaction, send transaction. The important number is where I'm sending the Ethereum to, 0x8 EFA. And there it goes. It's sending now. It says 3+ hours, but Ethereum's usually pretty quick. So it should take a few seconds. And I can jump back here. I can reload this page. Nothing in there yet. Okay, that was about 20 seconds, and it says pending. It's going to have to go through, and it'll have to check. I think it'll have 6 verifications, and once it goes through 6, it'll say it's good. But you could see that it's going to that. I sent it to this key, which is the key that is on the Trezor wallet, which means in a few seconds when all these are verified, the money will be on the Trezor. So it was just that simple to send money to the Trezor. Okay, it was about 4 or 5 minutes, and all the confirmations are in there, and it can verify that I now have $10 of Ethereum on the Trezor. And we can verify that. Just go back to my Ether wallet. If you want to go to view wallet info, this time we're going to go to Trezor, connect to Trezor, and again, I don't have to put in my PIN number because I already entered it once, and now you can see that that 0.009559 is in there in that key. So if I wanted to send it, if I wanted to now send that, I would link it like this. So now I'm just viewing and I'm just checking. Again, it does not give, like when I put in a paper wallet, I could look at my private key. This will not give you a private key when it's on the Trezor. It's in there, and that's the security and safety that it's going to have. It's never going to give you a private key, because what would be the point of this? Once the private key's out, you've lost all those security measures. So that's where it's good to have this. And if you're worried about screwing up or putting it somewhere you shouldn't or losing that number, all you're going to need is the public key. So if you did want to send, if you wanted to send money from your Trezor, you would go to send, Trezor, connect. Same thing as checking. Export, use that wallet where the money's in. I could put in, let's say I wanted to send it back to that original paper wallet. So here's the public key of that paper wallet. I could put in that 0.009, whatever the difference is minus the fee. I could hit generate and send, and it would send it. So once it's in there, you can see if you're going to send to the this is just for Ethereum and ERC20 tokens. If you're sending it to the Trezor, you generate the wallet just to get the public key. When you're sending it from there, you go again, you're linking it and you're sending it out. So I like how it's secure the whole way through. Some things to discuss. I really like this menu they have for Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. It shows the balance right on here. I like this a lot. The fact that they have it linked for Ethereum to my Ether wallet, I think can be a little tricky for people who haven't used it. If this was my first time using this, I think it would be a lot harder than the fact that I've used it a lot of times before. I know there's a walkthrough, and that's good that they give that, but I prefer that everything was on one page, just like this. I prefer that they would have, I know my Ether wallet is very secure and I've used it a lot and I'm very happy with it, but I would think it would be nice if they just had a menu for Ethereum, just like they do for Bitcoin. Send and receive with the key right there. I don't really know why they have to have a separate menu to take you to my Ether wallet. Maybe there's a reason. It works fine, but it's just another interface that you have to get used to. Whereas if you're just used to their interface, and it's very simple and easy, now you have to load it in and connect it, and it's only a few clicks, and I'm sure if you do it a few times it's fine, but it's just a new interface you're trying to learn. So I guess it's not the end of the world. It's just another thing you have to learn, and I thought the whole point was that this was going to be simple and easy and walk you through. Like I said, a great thing about it is you can't really screw up in the fact that you're not going to give away this private key because they never give it to you. Whereas if you're messing around with paper wallets, you can screw up because you could put that private key in somewhere you shouldn't and someone can get it. So those are just some of my opinions. And now let me finish by going over my review of how I feel about the product. I really like it for a few reasons. One, I can take this, unplug it, give it to anybody, give it to a family member, and say, here, keep this. And I have 100% certainty no one's going to get into it. No one's going to be able to crack it. No one's going to know my keys or pins if I keep those separate. So this can be anywhere. I could drop it, and I feel secure. You do that with a paper wallet, and it's gone. You better hurry back home and transfer it out of that key. So I like the fact that it's very secure. I also like the fact that someone could have this. You could give it as a gift. You could, get a Trezor, put $100 on it, give it to somebody as a gift, and you know it's going to be secure. Whereas if you give them a paper wallet, they could lose it. They might not know what to do with it. So you could give this to somebody as a gift, and it will guide them through every step along the way. They can come to this screen here and see what their balance is, see how to send it, and it's very intuitive. Some things I don't like the fact that Ethereum sends you to my Ether wallet. I think it's not necessary. I'd like to hear their reasoning for why they use my Ether wallet. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It works fine. It's just another interface that people have to learn and learn how to use. And it can be a little confusing for people. I like that this guides you along the way, and it's very secure, and it shows you what steps to do. And they've really put a lot of thought into all the different levels of security, from the PIN number to the card with the recovery seed on it. So I like all those reasons, and I like this for a long-term storage. You put some Bitcoin on it, you put it in a safe, you put your recovery seed somewhere else that only you know about, give it to a family member, keeping them in two separate places, and if anything happens, you can recover it. So I like all of that for long-term cold storage. And most of the times when you hear people talking about how they lost their money, or they lost their keys, or their money's lost, a lot of times it's because user error. They sent Ethereum to a Bitcoin address, or they forgot to put something in wrong. The thing I like about this is it's very user-friendly in how it walks you through every step, and the security doesn't really get in the way of anything. I like the fact that your private key didn't show up on my Ether wallet. So those are all really nice, and I think this would be a great gift for someone who's never dealt with cryptocurrency before, somebody who's new, somebody who's worried they want to do a paper wallet, but they're not really sure how. So they just, I'm going to leave it on Coinbase because I don't want to screw up and I'm afraid I'm going to lose it. This seems like a really safe and easy way to transfer money, and it's safe once it's on here. So would I say this is for everyone? I think so. I think I'm going to try it out some more, see if I really like it, put some money on here, and the whole point is, you have this money. When people tell you, yeah, you have $1,000 or something, and it's just a number, and if I lose that number, it's gone. Well, with this, you could feel a little bit more secure that everything's protected. Even if somebody steals it, you're still fine. You have your recovery seed. They're not going to get into it. I think I like it. So I can honestly say it worked really well. I'm happy with all the protections and everything with it. And so I think the whole point is you want to be able to sleep well at night knowing your money in cryptocurrency is safe. And when you're keeping it in public and private keys and it's open, somebody could get it, and I'm getting very nervous the more and more money I'm earning in this. And I think if I use this Trezor for, long-term storage of things like Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff that I really believe in for long-term, I can just put it on here, put it somewhere safe, and I can sleep easy at night knowing it's, nobody's going to be able to get to it. So I think for that reason, I really like the product, and I'm going to use it in the future.